Hey Bremerton, it's the 75th anniversary of the Bremerton Symphony this weekend. I've also got a preview of the Bremerton Bridge Blast, which will return for a second year later in June on this week's edition of the Bremerton Beat Blast. Stay with us.
And I've been on this grind a long time. The only time that I unwind is to chill with you. And I don't care if they don't get it.
Welcome back to this edition of the Bremerton Beat Blast, sponsored by the Admiral Theater. Story number one today, we begin with the Bremerton Bridge Blast. On June 30th, it will return for its second year. People came out in droves last year for the first annual event on the Minette Bridge itself. But the organizers this year say they're going to need some help from the community. They fundraised about $14,000 en route to a $50,000 goal.
We have definitely touched a spot in Bremerton where they want us to be here, and we're looking forward to do it again. We're looking at heights of over 800 feet. We have 8-inch shells all the way across the bridge. We have 7 stations, over 8,000 bursts.
Some of you might remember last year the amazing waterfall effect. So these can only be done in this unique setting, and we have shells that are hand-picked for this show that no other show has. We have cakes, which are multi-shot cakes that will come off, that again will have no other show has because of this particular venue that allows us to do that.
Story number two today, Sunday night, a scary incident at Sea Film Cinemas in downtown Bremerton. A man who had been kicked out of the theater ultimately took a hammer to the movie theater's box office windows. Police are still looking for a suspect.
So Sunday night they had a patron that came in and he was being disruptive in one of the movie theaters, and another one of their customers complained to the staff, and they actually asked him to leave. On his way out, he threatened the staff member and also the patron who complained on him, and actually produced a hammer as he left the theater. They were concerned enough that they kind of huddled in a position of safety, and as he left, he used the hammer on the glass at the front of the building and broke out one of the windows there. That the damage estimate is in between $4,000 and $5,000 worth of damage he caused.
Story number three this week, the old East High School and Bremerton Junior High School campus is finally being demolished this week. While the gym has been restored and saved, 125,000 square feet of old school carcass is being demolished. Now you can come have a look for yourself as the school district hosts an event next Monday night from 5 to 6 p.m. May 14th called Saying Goodbye to the Old Campus. Story number four, the Bremerton Symphony began as the city bulged during World War II to a town of more than 80,000 people. Now, 75 years later, it's still thriving as one of the most enduring symphonies outside of a major U.S. city.
For us, we're a part of this community, unlike many other organizations, in that Bremerton really grew up as a city after World War II, with the influx of servicemen, of course, in the Navy, and it's their family members, all the people who played instruments, that really created this orchestra. And now we're into the third generation of these families who are still playing with this orchestra. This will be the biggest production we've ever attempted, I think, with the orchestra.
And finally, story number five, speaking of good music, the LaConner Guitar Festival takes place this weekend up in LaConner, Washington. We have several luthiers from Kitsap County that will be attending. One of them is Wayne Johnson of Illahee. Johnson learned to play guitar as a 6-year-old boy, but in later life, he learned how to build them as well.
For me, it's deeply personal because I grew up with a guitar in my hands. I learned to play, and it brought so much meaning to me. I have just been fascinated with how good a guitar can sound, how amazing the wood works, and how every guitar is different, like every human, you know, our fingerprints are different. It's just exciting to get the most you can out of the wood, you know, and then you put it together. I feel like I'm an artist creating something to pass on to another creative artist. They're inspired to create their own stuff that just continues to go and inspire more and more people.
And finally, what's on tap for your weekend, brought to you by Silver City Brewery Tap Room. The first is a concert at the Chuck, that is the Charleston, on Saturday night at 8 p.m. Tickets are $5. David Olivas will be releasing a new single that has been the backdrop and soundtrack for this Beat Blast. It's also a cancer research benefit show. And secondly, of course, on Friday night, 7:30 p.m., the historic 75th anniversary of the Bremerton Symphony takes place at the Bremerton Performing Arts Center. Have a great rest of your week, Bremerton.
And I've been on this grind a long time. The only time that I unwind is to chill with you. And